everybody, this is Tiffany. Welcome back to my channel, Straight Stitching. Today I'm starting a new series called Around the Block. Every week I will be creating and sharing a new video that will demonstrate the creation of a new block. For the next several weeks I'm going to be working on very basic and classic blocks. Today we will be working on the 4-patch block. There will be a bit of a twist in that this particular block will have two mini 4-blockers or 4-patch blocks within a larger 4-patch block. The quilt will finish at 12 inches squared. So once we're done with our sewing today, we should end up with a block that is 12.5 by 12.5 inches. If you take a look at the description of this video, I will post a link to a free handout that will show you the different blocks that we'll be doing over the next several weeks. So for today, what you're going to need is fabric. You'll need a rotary cutter and a cutting mat, a ruler so that you can measure your fabric, obviously a sewing machine, and then your favorite thread. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm trying something new here where I am working between two cameras, so hopefully that works out. On the second camera here, you should see the fabric that we'll be working with. So again, this block, once completely sewn together, is going to measure 12.5 by 12.5 inches. So we're going to be starting with two 6.5-inch pieces of background, and then, as I mentioned, I'm going to be making two smaller 4 patches within a larger 4-patch. So you'll need 4 pieces of fabric that measure 3.5 inches squared. So let's go ahead and get started. I do need to change my foot. Okay, so I like to sew with the 1/4-inch foot. I know there's several people who use the scant 1/4-inch foot that comes with most sewing machines. I don't like that one necessarily. I prefer the precision of the 1/4-inch foot so that I know that I have a better chance of having consistent 1/4-inch seams. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start with the two smaller 4-patch blocks. So I'm going to start with, I wonder what this looks like. I'm going to start with these two solid pieces here. So I'm going to take them and I'm going to sew them together. And these are solid, so it's sometimes challenging to determine which side is the right side. So I generally don't bother with trying to figure that out. So I'm going to take two different blocks here and I'm going to align them. And then I'm going to stitch them together with a 1/4-inch seam. Okay, and I'll do that for the next pair of this block. Okay, and so in order to save a bit of time, I'm going to do what we call chain piecing. So I'm going to just continue to piece through the smaller squares that'll be used for the two smaller 4 patches. So I'm going to again align these two squares right sides together. These fabrics both have a print, so it's clear which sides are the right sides. So lining up the corners here, and then I will sew them together with the 1/4-inch seam. Okay, so now I have the 4 pairs of squares that are going to be used to make the 2 smaller 4-patch blocks. I am going to now press the seams open and then take each of the pairs to the sewing machine, no, not sewing machine, to the iron, and iron the seams flat. I know that many people like to iron their seams to one side, to the dark side in most cases. I prefer to press my seams open. So all of the seams are finger pressed, and so now I will just go ahead and press them open. Okay, so each of the pairs have their seams pressed open, and so now I will arrange the 2 pairs to create the 4-patch. So you want to just align the seams, and I'm going to pin mine so that I can be sure that there is minimal movement as I sew them together using a 1/4-inch seam. So this is my first 4-patch, and I'll do the same for the second. So again, lining up the seams, and I'm going to pin. Okay, so So the seams are pinned together, so there's minimal movement there, and then I just align the corners with my fingers, and then I'll send this through the sewing machine. Okay, so now I have my 2 smaller 4-patches. So hopefully you can see that here. I'll put it on the other camera. You'll get a better view. I'm going to again press these seams open with my fingers, and then I press them with the iron to get them as flat as possible. And these should measure at 6.5 inches. They started out as 3.5-inch squares, and so now once you put them together as a 4-patch, they will measure 6.5 inches. So I'm just going to line them up here. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so now I will repeat that process. I'm going to sew together my mini 4-patch with my one larger background piece. So just again aligning the edges, starting at the corner, and then sewing them together. Okay, so now I have 2 halves of the larger 4 patch. I'm going to repeat that same process. I'm going to finger press the seams open, and then I will press them open with my iron. Okay. Okay, so we have our top and bottom of our 4 patch. I'm going to now just do the same thing. I'm going to align the seams, and then I'm going to pin them. And align my corners. And let's I'm doing a back stitch on these because the block will sit for some time as we work through the following weeks, and I want to make sure the seams do not begin to come apart. So again, last finger press. And I'm going to take this to the iron. Okay, so here we have it. This is our first block in the Around the Block series. This is the 4 patch with 2 mini 4 patches in it. Again, make sure you look at the show notes and you download the tracker that will be used for the next several weeks, and then it'll also give you an idea of the blocks that will be showing here as the weeks go on. Ultimately, the goal will be to create all of these blocks and then at the end put them together to create a mini quilt. So I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. Very quick and short, to the point. It is a 4 patch block with a variation. So again, if you haven't already done so, please like and subscribe to the channel, and make sure you click the bell so that you can be immediately notified when I upload new videos.